And I'll just start by saying that this one is my own personal pick of the week. And the reason that I'm so excited about this one is that it is a push your luck dice gambling game, which is a favorite genre of mine. I love Liar's Dice, Dice 10,000, and even Strike the Dice game. But this one does something different from any one of those games because this one offers real-time betting similar to Ready, Set, Bet for all the other players that are not currently rolling the dice. Because the way this game works is that each round there's only going to be one person rolling the dice, and you're going to be getting 3 dice to roll for free, but you can spend your victory points in order to roll even more. You're going to be rolling those dice and then deciding where to place them out on the skull board. Anytime you do this, you can decide to stop and then cash in your victory points so far, or instead you can choose to continue by re-rolling your unplaced dice, and then hopefully placing more out on the board in order to score more victory points. Your turn continues like this until you have placed all of your dice, or if you decide to stop, or if you bust. And the way you bust in this game is if you re-roll your dice and then there's not a single die that you can place. The board's broken into 5 different rows, which each represent a different dice placement location. The numbers on the left and right side of the board represent the victory points that you'll earn for each die that you have there. And if you decide to stop rolling your dice, you're going to be getting the lower victory points on the left. But if you're able to use up all of your dice, then you'll be getting the victory points on the right. Your 1s can only be placed on the bottom, your 2s can be placed above that, your 3s above that, and so on and so forth. And you might have noticed that the 3 location doesn't have a point value, but rather has this green cube. And those are reroll cubes that you'll be able to cash in later if you want to reroll any of your dice. And these are nice to hang on to because they can help you avoid a bust for some of your more risky rolls. Not only that, but the 5 only has 1 placement location in the crystal of the skull. The 4s only have 2 locations in both of the eyes. The 3 only has 1 location, and then the 1s and 2s are the exception to this because you can have as many dice as you want in the jaw of the skull. Rather than 6s on the die, you have these skulls, which essentially act as wilds. But the thing with the skull is that the only way that you can actually score that die for victory points is if you're also able to place a die into the crystal of the skull. But another thing that makes this game even more difficult is that once you place a die in any of these locations, you can't place a die in any of the lower locations for the rest of your turn. This means that if you were to place a number 5 die, you've essentially ended your turn because you won't be able to place any more dice since that is the highest value. But like I said, this is a game that's essentially 2 simultaneous games in one because while you're rolling your dice and trying to get to the outcome that gets you the most points, all the other players are going to be betting on what they think your outcome will be. I love this because not only does it keep all the players engaged, but it also means that the players are going to be egging you on and trying to convince you to go for certain outcomes because they might have placed bets on those outcomes. This means you also might want to keep an eye on what players are betting on, and you might want to try to avoid that in order to limit the amount of points you're giving to your opponent players. The game offers a bunch of different situations that players can bet on, and if you're first to bet on a situation and that bet hits, then you're going to be getting paid out more than the other players, so you are incentivized to bet early. But that does come with more risk because the longer you wait, the more information you'll have, and if you're able to see which dice have been rolled and how they're placing their dice, then that's going to give you more information as to which outcomes will be the more likely ones. Really love what I'm seeing with this one, and I'm super excited to try this one out for myself, but I'm fairly confident I'm going to be backing this one either on the campaign or maybe in retail afterwards, depending on what the shipping will be to Canada. But if you are interested in this one like I am, definitely check it out, and I will have it linked in the description down below.